feedback takes away from the clarity of what is being said at the time. Our topic tonight is really an interesting one, and it concerns football. So tonight, we are dealing with Indians in West Indian national football. Now, what is football? Football around the world has other names. It's also called soccer, and it's a popular sport in Caribbean countries. But there is not a single Indo-Trinidadian in the national football team in Trinidad, and there has never been in living memory. In Guyana, like Trinidad, there's not a single Indo-Guyanese man on the national team. However, in the Guyana national women's football team, there are two Indo-Guyanese women football players, Brittany Prasad and Kiana Kedu. Congratulations to them. Power to a woman. We did try to make contact with them to get them to come on the show, but it was difficult. So we have to work past that. What I want to say about this is that here at ICC, we have an equal voice. You would notice that the people in the committee, there are women here. Our speakers are women. So it's not a male-centric space, and I like that. So kudos to the Guyana football team. In Suriname, however, there's a difference, and we shall see it in a few minutes. Now, these guys have played on the national team in international games. Indians in India and the Indian diaspora love cricket. We all associate cricket with the Indian diaspora, with India. Why is that? It seems that though football is such a popular and liked sport, we don't have, as East Indians or Indo-Caribbean people, there is no space that yet within that platform of football. And why is this so? So tonight, our panelists, who are 5 of them, will be discussing that question. Why is there little or sometimes even no Indo-Caribbean representation in Caribbean football? Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Ramesh Ramdan. Now, Mr. Ramesh Ramdan is from Trinidad and Tobago. He is a football referee best known for supervising the Japan-Croatia match during the 1998 FIFA World Cup held in France. He has also officiated at numerous FIFA and CONCACAF competitions. Last year, Mr. Ramdan's net worth was estimated to be US $5 million. So Mr. Ramesh, welcome to our panel tonight. You have 10 minutes. Take it from there. Welcome.
So yes, thank you for having me on the program. And of course, the topic has been one that encouraged a lot of discussions throughout the country, that is Trinidad and Tobago. The fact is that I believe it's like a socio-cultural issue, historical as well, geographical in Trinidad, in the sense of Trinidad and Tobago. And that, you hear me, right?
Yes, we are.
Yes, yes.
Right. So I believe the genesis of this whole issue that we're discussing today stems from way back, in that there were no role models to look up to amongst the Indian diaspora in our country, which relates relative to football. So you find them gravitating to cricket because there were a lot of role models to emulate in cricket. Football, I could say my own situation. My parents didn't want me to play football. I love football, and every time I got a chance, I used to pick up a ball and either encourage a small goal come play or go to the beach and play beach soccer as we know it today, but we were playing football on the sand. But they always deterred me from getting involved in football because there was a stigma that footballers are strong and brutal, which was not really the case. It was just a myth that is just handed down in past generations, which I believe now it's not as bad as it used to be back then. But now we have another challenge with footballers, Indian footballers. You see a lot of them in our secondary schools set up, good footballers who have been before. I know several names like a guy called Anthony Danulal, Hitlal, Suklal. They all were good and the best in their time when they played at the colleges league. However, there's another problem in that Indo-Trinidad parents want their children to be academically sound. And therefore, when they leave school, they focus on their education. And therefore, football takes a lot of time because a lot of fitness is required, and you have to spend dedicated time and effort to becoming a good footballer. You have to be fit. You have to be working on your game and your fitness on a daily basis. And therefore, not much parents encourage their kids to go down that road. Cricket was easier because it didn't require that level of fitness as football does. And therefore, they just went academic. There are other distractions, if you want to call it that. A lot of them are musically inclined. There are a lot of good musicians in Trinidad, as you all know, Trinidad and Tobago, and they gravitate to other activities. So football suffered from that historical situation. In my view, back then, my case was different. I played cricket. I ventured into cricket, and I actually played at a decent level in Trinidad in the zonal situation. And then, of course, because I love football so much, I decided to get involved in the refereeing aspect, and the rest is history. But it is difficult to overcome that situation because it is now part of our culture, part of a socio-cultural mix, if you want to call it that. Historically, Indians do gravitate to playing football, although now I believe the game is much more brains than brawn, as was the case back then when we were told that you have to be strong and brutal to play football. So I believe the genesis of the whole problem stems back in the past, where we are a docile people. We were not aggressive. We were not viewed as being strong, and therefore it just wasn't an option. So that is the root cause of where we are today with respect to participation in the game by Indo-Trinidadians. Not that they cannot play, I must say, and not that the system keep them out. It's just the Indian diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago. It's their social background that they have held on to and has not moved on beyond that. Maybe time will see an emergence of much more Indian players gravitating to football.
Okay, Mr. Ramdan.